Well, it's been a quiet week here in Lake Scabagon, my hometown. This week, Brock ponders a new revenue stream for the podcast. They touch on Christmas decorations and offer solutions to the changing weather. They do some fact checks, and Missy checks in about the 5 Iron Show. Then surprise guest Todd Grassman pops in. Conversations cover ska, Star Trek, bikes, but this is not turning into a ska trek podcast.
Should I shave on the podcast?
Yeah,
if you want.
I shaved on radio before.
Very nice, Brock. Don't touch that mustache, though. There goes the brand.
It'd be a sad day, right? Exactly. Yeah, that's the podcast is over.
Yeah, we got nothing left. Your stepping stone will turn into a dead end. That's what'll happen.
Yeah.
Ooh, I can see
I've been
that
meaning to do
jawline.
this for however long now, and I just, it's like, you ever have those weekends where, well, you guys all have beards, right? So,
Well,
don't.
I don't like the full.
Yeah, you got to
beard.
clean that up, right? Yeah.
Right. And I wait, hold on. Turn to the right or the left, please. Oh, there's that jawline. Growl.
Sure.
How we doing?
Would this be a
guys?
whole segment? Would people pay us for this? If
Probably.
The
Probably.
official Brock
start
Dittus
our own Patreon?
the official
Just waiting
Brock
around
Dittus
for me
fan
to-
club would.
Yeah, wait till you see this chin.
I mean, there's a
Directing hair.
pot for every lid, is what they say. So
That's right. That's right.
Hey, make sure you let Ert know that we're podcast recording.
Sometimes there's too much pot and not enough lid.
I'll let him know. He's in California.
He probably brought the socks with him, I'm sure.
Probably wore him on the plane and showed him off.
Yeah.
Yeah, how much of this shaving sound is coming through and how much of it is effectively noise canceled? Should I be turning on original sound for musicians?
I'm catching a
Oh,
little bit.
even better now.
there we
Even
go.
better now. There
It's
it
going
is.
nuts.
Oh, now it's gone.
Now it sounds like a couple of Christmas raccoons. That's what it sounds like.
I mean, this goes without saying. I can't wait for this low light.
Yeah, I waited too long and suddenly I had like 3 days worth of growth, It's like I won't shave, it's the weekend, I was on vacation, taking a long weekend, etc. And suddenly I got like basically a lumberjack's beard.
Well,
Those are welcome here.
Yep.
I
you
trimmed
guys,
today. I
obviously,
caved.
yeah. It looks great.
I was
So wait, that's not a Wendy's shirt you're wearing, is it?
It's a showbreak
no,
one,
this
right?
is
there
yes.
we go.
an
There
I'm
we
a
go.
machine
Yeah, yeah.
gun shirt with a
Nice.
skeleton, Wendy.
Love
I have that one too.
Yeah, this is what I stood in line and talked to Daniel Rock for 45 minutes to get.
oh,
2 years ago, last year.
Love it.
Yeah,
Kevin, what are you wearing?
on your shirt. Show us your shirt.
So
show us your shirts.
Oh yeah.
Sandwich
Oh,
Are
shirt.
we allowed to say that?
Sandwich. The Town of Sandwich Landscapers
There we go. Perfect.
Association.
Check this one out.
The pickles department. Oh, it looks green to me.
Is that a sweater?
That's just a sweater. It's a very soft woolen sweater.
All right, Ned Flanders.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're not ready for sweaters here yet.
Yeah. It dies today, Buffalo, New York.
That's right,
Possibly
baby.
it does. Possibly.
Good band. That's a hardcore band, Brock. That was at the
Oh, is that right?
Furnace Fest the year before you took over.
Are they New York hardcore?
They are New York hardcore.
Okay, yeah.
It was it was the year before you took over Furnace Fest.
As
Brock's
opposed
like-
to North Carolina.
Brock's like, can we stop? Can we not bring this up again?
When people
we
went to
not
the Furnace
start-
Fest for the bands,
You
and
know
not the
I'll leave.
Brocks.
You know I will leave this Zoom. Whoop.
Yeah, I appreciate that there's a Furnace Fest group, right? And like I can remember one mention of me in the Furnace Fest group, maybe. Like
Right.
it was all happening elsewhere. So in terms of
It
Furnace
was.
Fest, like nobody really cares about me. That's the honest truth.
We saw that
And
line,
I'm
bro.
perfectly okay with that.
Oh, we kept our streak alive, guys. Furnace Fest mentioned.
Yeah, we got
Yep.
that
Yeah.
out of the way early.
Good news. Good news.
As I have ice in my mouth. Sorry about that. Furnace Fest mentioned.
Yeah. Hey, Jared, did you have Thanksgiving already?
No,
I was
this is,
just
Is
gonna
that a
ask that.
Thanksgiving tree in your room?
No, this is against my wishes. I don't participate in the early Christmas deck. So
I won't ask you whose
room.
fault it is. That would be wrong, and probably you shouldn't say.
I'm not going to point it out, but this is our upstairs bonus room, like over the garage. And
Okay.
so this is the one place that a tree was put up. Yeah, but I am strongly day after Thanksgiving, if it's up to me.
Yes, if it's up to you. And apparently it is not.
We might be, I don't know if we're a democracy or like, I think I might lose. I
Well,
would lose
I
in a
think we all know.
democracy, but I don't know if it's a democracy anyway. So I
Mhm.
don't know that it matters.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
Well,
Yeah, I just live here.
yeah.
Do a lot of driving around, pick up, drop off, those sorts of things. I'm functional.
That's-
I serve a purpose.
You're a shuttle driver,
Yeah.
Well, happy Failure Puddle Friday, everybody. We are going to jump right into things, and we are actually going to get to our text messages and our voicemails early in the episode rather than 5.5 hours in.
So what do y'all
That's
think
right.
about existentialism?
Show you something I got in the mail today.
Yeah.
You guys remember these guys?
What's
Yeah,
it?
wow.
Oh, is that MG the Visionary?
The
That's
sampler.
right.
Is that a tape
Chemist,
Rock
sampler?
Records
yeah.
sampler. Yeah.
That's a wait,
Very
wait.
On
Hold that
cassette
up.
tape.
Hold that up again. Hold that up again, please.
With MG the Visionary, Soup the Chemist, and Ill Harmonics.
Ill
Nice.
harmonics.
Yeah.
Good Lord, that's good stuff.
Totally. Also, check this out.
Wait.
Yeah.
Neon Horse vinyl sticker.
Oh,
Very
nice.
cool.
I have that on my my toolbox that has all my guitar pedals and stuff in it.
Oh, freebie. Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good
Yes, sir.
sampler, yeah.
Sealed copy of the freebie too.
I like how Missy is now messaging us live during the
Wait, is
podcast
she?
to ask if we've
Is she?
started yet.
Okay.
She just
Oh,
did.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so that means someone is looking at their phone while we're recording. Couldn't be me.
I know.
Are you on your phone right now?
Well, he's got
no.
that dual
No.
monitor thing.
I'm on my Logi, my Logitech.
Oh, Logi. Oh, Loki?
Yeah.
Logi?
Yes, you remember. Yeah.
Logan?
Hammer of the Gods. Is that right?
Wolverine?
Yeah. hmm
Funko Pops. Speaking of Funko Pops, hey, can we talk about the new exchange for 20?
Yeah, let's
wait,
do it.
I'm sorry. Do I hear a guest in the studio?
There's a lurker again. Yes, there is a guest in the studio.
Oh, hey.
Okay.
I'm just wondering that the heat has been turned on downstairs
Why?
because it's gonna be 41 degrees.
They turned the heat
Oh,
on downstairs,
lame.
guys. This has been a terrible move.
You know what I do? You know what I do?
Hello,
Can you ask her to come over and look at what I would recommend?
Come here. You gotta. Rock wants you to look at something.
Oh,
Here, you can.
I'm not video ready.
Don't
Check
worry,
out.
this
Neither
is an
am I.
audio medium.
No, but I did shave on the podcast. This is a sweater. I don't know. Have you heard of Jimmy Carter?
Have you ever heard
long
of Mr.
time ago.
Rogers?
Back when presidents were respectable, there were people who just said, you know what? It's cold. You put on clothes and you stay warm. And that's what I do. I wear a very warm sweater. I would recommend that.
Sound like my husband.
And then in the 90s, a little band called Weezer came along and asked about destroying sweaters.
That is when it all
Yeah.
fell apart.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Even though they were
That's
very
right.
pro sweater.
That's
That's
right.
true.
Their
yeah.
everyday attire.
And then in
Yeah,
the
but
late
they also-
90s, early
Mhm.
2000s, a little band called Reliant K asked if we liked their sweater.
We did.
When
Yeah.
my babies were freezing when they went and got in bed.
That's how you know you're sleeping good.
Mm.
So
Did they have sweaters on?
they did not.
That's
Okay,
the
well, see,
problem.
there's your problem. I would
Everybody's
recommend
on.
you put sweaters on the babies. It's going to help them out a lot.
My 14 and 9
That's what I do for mine every night when I put them to bed. Sweaters on. There you go, kids.
That's right.
Swaddle them in sweaters.
That's
You know,
it.
some
Yep.
people suit up,
Very
we
nice.
sweater up.
That's
Yep. You got some double thickness alpaca around you? No? Well, let's take care of that.
Well,
And leave the house at 65, right?
that's
it.
right.
That's
That's
it.
right.
That's exactly the speed. That's what we do.
Ooh.
65
Right.
degrees at night
Oh, I
feels so
love it.
good. My
Yeah.
goodness.
Right.
So good.
No, you
Wait,
put me
wait.
in a room. You can imagine a room in Alabama that
Imagine if
just
you
doesn't
will.
have temperature control. Like preposterous, I know, but just imagine.
And imagine a guy that's sleeping in
problems?
a
Imagine
a
four
little
men just
steamy.
emanating body heat into that room. Yeah.
And a fifth
Imagine the
guy
moisture
that's-
in the air.
that has his own room with a bunch of other
Mhm.
dudes, and actually
Yep.
a big old living area that we could have easily. I mean, the four other guys could have slept in very nicely.
Yeah.
So is this
Yep.
part of a recap then? We're going back
Oh,
to
we're
recap
yeah.
more?
Furnace Fest, because we have to talk about Furnace Fest.
Podcast.
Oh, I heard about that one and the smells and
I
less
don't know about
potty
smells.
talk, guys. Less potty talk. I already
There was
heard
no
too
potty.
much about bumholes this week, so
I let her listen to the end of the
I think that was
That
was
wasn't
the
us.
other show. Yeah,
I
That was
don't
the
talk
other
about
show.
bumholes.
Yeah.
no, I wouldn't.
That's
I
Beavis
never
and
do.
Butthead.
Yeah.
Yep,
That's our overlords, Beavis and Butthead.
that's right.
Yeah,
Roller
just
coaster of
family-friendly
love.
content over here.
Right.
I want to
On
quiz
that note.
before you take the
Whoa.
earbud ad. What is our squid line?
oh,
Does it start with 985?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. What's the rest of it?
985 without looking at a phone. 98528. That doesn't sound right.
It is right.
What's the word after 28? You're almost there.
Oh, 77843. Okay.
She got it right, guys.
There it
She
is.
got it right.
Yes.
Guys, she got it. She got it right.
I would
I
just
know-
say
Yes.
98528 squid.
Yeah, but you see, she did
Wraps it
not
nicely.
like the fact that now the squid comes in handy, Tammy.
Yeah.
That's why I tried to actually give the number out.
Yeah. See why no one remembers numbers? They just remember words.
Hey, you're a good
Yep.
sport. You're a good sport, my friend. Thank you.
Enjoy.
Much appreciated.
All right,
Speaking of
lead off.
voicemails and text messages, don't we have some?
We do.
So, have you ever heard the DC talk? 1 + 1 = no. Go ahead.
One of you guys want to read off the text message? Ooh, what's that?
Oh, it's the Semantics Power Bill. It's a Japanese release by Will Owsley and a bunch of other guys. Sorry, we were talking about.
Hold on
voicemails.
while I bring up the Semantics Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
I got my Reliant Cape yesterday. 10th,
Oh, did you?
No, 15th anniversary. What anniversary is it? 20? 10, 15?
20th. Yeah.
How are all the albums from when I was young old now? I haven't figured that out. That's what keeps
It doesn't make
Preposterous,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it's absurd. I don't
It's
know.
weird
how
being the
that's-
same age as all these old people.
I know
I
the
know.
albums are old, and I don't think I am. But
No,
they
hey.
keep seeing the anniversaries.
Just remember, we may be old, but at least we're not like all those other old guys.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. I wear a wallet chain.
I'm wearing my Vans right now. You think the high school thing is the thing that I can skate? Boy, that sentence worked really well.
Them kids,
Is somebody going to read that text message and bail me out? For those of you listening at home, this is dead air.
I was going to say, are you going for it, Pete? Because I'm
Kind
just
of,
watching
especially.
everyone else go for their devices. I think that's great.
I'm writing some
I
notes.
appreciate it.
Okay.
I really do. Yeah, I appreciate that I can do like the least amount of work on this podcast of all of us. I think that has borne
No,
out to
you're-
be the case.
You're.
I think I have.
I
it
won't.
here.
I was gonna bring up the fact that you're our eye candy, but that would make you leave, so I won't.
And that's no work.
Stay.
Yeah.
Stay.
And eye candy, it's very important on an audio podcast.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one of
I
the
do
most
have the
important
face
things
for
about an
radio.
audio
Yeah.
podcast.
All right, here's what it is.
Hi, welcome to the ADD hour.
Oh look, a squid.
Sweet.
Here we go. Hello, Squids. Tristan Taylor here. I found myself doing my own fact check during 147 bonus. Joe mentioned a band from Windsor called Fun with Fat Kids, which he's done a few times now. Being from Windsor myself, I figured I would have heard of such a band, or they may have intersected my older brother's circle of friends. A quick Google search pulls up a Facebook page identifying them as from Sarnia. Seeing as those are the two closest border towns to Royal Oak, it's passable. So we
Windsor.
got help
I barely knew her.
fact-checking now. Hey.
Well, I appreciate that, Tristan. Thanks so much for that fact check.
I'm happy to learn we have a Canadian contingent.
Yeah.
That's I didn't know that. We knew we had someone down under, but we didn't know we had somebody upstairs.
That's right. Am I going to make people upset if I say that like Michiganders and Minnesotans are somewhat, well, and Wisconsinians, they're somewhat honorary Canadians. I feel like there's like maybe like a culture dip there, kind of like the jet stream dips, and so does Canadian influence. Maybe.
Seems reasonable.
Are we going to get
Plausible
we're going to get angry text messages to 98528 squid soon?
Well, we'll see.
Okay.
It won't be from the Canadians because they're pleasant.
Well,
The
no.
Minnesotans are supposed to
No.
be exceptionally nice too. So, Michigan, Wisconsin.
Wait,
They're all
Well, I'm going to
see
give
what
I'm going to give
happens.
license to anybody who wants to disagree with me. Be as unpleasant as you want, Minnesotans. Come on.
All Are we out of a job though in our podcast since someone else is fact checking now? I feel threatened a little bit.
Well,
No, I'm
don't
okay with it.
don't
Okay.
because they didn't talk about the true facts of. Well, this is a true fact. I don't want to diminish that fact, but there are a couple facts that I did check on the bonus episode.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I did some fact checking myself too. So we're
Yeah,
prepared.
there's a little bit of a population discrepancy that Reese was talking about. Reese talked about Cheyenne and Casper being the most populated state and Cheyenne being number 2. That's actually flipped. Sorry, Reese.
Okay, good to know. What about
but,
Lander?
I don't know about Lander, but I know that Cheyenne is 65,000 people and Casper is 59,000. So,
Okay.
and also he did state that Wyoming has the lowest population per square mile. I'm so sorry. Alaska does indeed have the lowest population density with only 1.28 residents per square mile, followed by Wyoming at 5.96 residents per square mile.
Yeah. Of human people, right?
Of human people.
Yeah.
Did anyone
Montana's
else,
third, but that's right.
Did anyone else look up the Casper Event Center that Reese said looked like a giant Pizza Hut?
Wow,
No,
it kind of
but I
does,
want
huh?
to
Yeah,
now.
and it kind of
Big
totally
roof
does.
peak. Yeah,
The
absolutely.
Google search did not disappoint.
Oh, yep, you're right. You're right. That's amazing.
I was very impressed.
I think I missed this whole spot over here.
Get back at it.
There's still something there. There we go.
One with Follicles.
Well-
A side note that brings me back to college. I had a radio show called the All Testosterone Hour. It was for Mom, Dad, and Weird Uncle Pete, and we often would.
Which one were
or
you?
not often. I was not Weird Uncle Pete because I was one of the hosts. But there was another Pete. Yeah, it's like the Adventures of Pete and Pete. They were on a boat, I heard. Yeah. So back
Somebody
in the day,
fell out?
yeah, and who was left though?
No, but who fell out? That's the question.
Well, we all know traditionally that Pete and Repeat were on a boat, and Pete fell out, and who was left? So back
That's
to my
right.
story.
That's right.
About you shaving on air. I had a radio show
Mhm.
where I shaved my whole goatee on air with my parents on the phone as a
The whole
live
thing
call-in.
off?
The whole thing off.
Wow.
I walked around at our campus as a prospective student the next day, and it was really
Incredible.
amazing. I had back in the day, Houghton had purple folders for perspectives.
Yeah.
I shaved off my whole beard. I'll have to find a picture and I'll put it out there. And I shaved it all off. Walked around the next day. A bunch of people did not recognize who I was. I walked up to a couple of my really good friends and walked up real close to them, and they're like, "Who is this guy? And why is he walking up to me?" I had my glasses off. I wore different clothes, and it was amazing. It was a great social experiment. I told my professors ahead of time that I was doing this just so I'd be marked present, and yeah, it was really cool. It was a fun time.
That's incredible.
Are you willing to do this again for our podcast?
I am not.
Okay. Good to know.
We know where
Anything
we
for love, but not that.
I would I would do anything for this podcast, but I won't do that.
So I asked Missy if she considered herself an honorary Canadian. She said, apparently my grandpa was French Canadian.
Oh, okay. There we go. So really, not too far removed.
No. And she said, we were seriously just explaining the Canadian A to Oliver 5 minutes ago.
There you go. That's how you raise your kids right.
Yep.
That's it.
Five Iron had a show recently.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, and we actually had a reporter on the ground, I guess you could say. So Missy called in with a report on how the show went. Jared, I don't know if you want to play that voicemail for us.
I don't know if you want to, but we're going to make you.
Hey, this is Missy reporting out on the Chicago show. Just wanted to let you know how things went this weekend. We got there, my husband and I got there just after the line had pretty much gone through, which was nice, so we didn't have to wait out in the cold. We did end up going into another line for the 5-iron merch. Actually, I should say I left my husband in line for the 5-iron merch while I went and mingled with people who I was excited to see, haven't seen in a while, including Lisa, who I've never met before. So it was really nice to meet Lisa and her family. I got back in line and ended up being Reese was at the front of the line talking to people while also monitoring his daughters doing the merch, which shout out to them. They did a fantastic job. They seemed to be very calm, which was probably way more calmer than I would have been trying to manage that nice long merch line. So shout out to them. They did a great job. Got up to talk to Reese. I tried to contain my nerves and made a joke about the mustache and if he was Brock Dittus. He laughed. I asked if he had heard that a lot tonight, and he said no. So thankfully that made me feel better that I made the joke, but then I felt stupid for asking if he had the joke. We chit-chatted a little bit about the Pickle and Boot Shop and the Pickle Home Companion, and he confessed that he had not listened a lot, which is quite funny given I just listened to the bonus episode in which he told Joe he listens all the time. So I get it. It's okay, Reese. It's okay that you don't have time to be listening to it. So then I realized after chit-chatting for a while that there was a nice long line of people behind me yet. So we moved on. I bought a T-shirt. That was great. And then we headed back to the stage to the left where Lisa was and hung out with her. Also met Reese Joey from the Pickle and Boot Shop Facebook group as well as the I Hate 5-Iron Frenzy group. So it was nice to meet him. Awesome. So we pretty much stayed in that spot all night. It was unfortunately by the speakers, which were hanging from the ceiling, which meant that we could not see anything above the waist of the horn players unless they came out from around the speakers. So I'm not quite sure that Dennis was actually there, but I did hear his voice occasionally, so it must have been him. There was an incident with Reese's zipper, which thankfully Lisa's kids saved the day by having a safety pin, because who knows what could have happened. He kept the show G after that. So thankfully, please support the Pickle and Boot Shop so that Reese can buy new pants. They seem to stick with the same set that they've been playing, which is great. It was a lot of fun, got a little emotional at the end. That's all I can really think of. Sorry.
Hey, that's all right, Missy. Well done. Our field reporter.
Much appreciated. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
That's good. Yeah. I appreciate that she asked the question. I think that's the most important part of it. And she doesn't have to feel bad about it.
Honestly, the fact that she asked if he got it a lot is somewhat funnier. So she asked the perfect follow-up question.
Yep.
So no need to feel bad about that. Yeah.
No, I've met Lisa in person at the Denver 5-Iron show in 22, where I fractured my foot.
Yeah.
Hey, Daniel Rocket, you heard about that? I fractured my foot at the 2022 5-Iron show.
I heard it was your spleen.
Well, that too, probably. But no, that was where I met Lisa, and she was like, "Hey, I know you. You're from the internet." And I said, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And then we met, and that was it.
Hey, good story, bro.
Yeah, we were all out in front of the venue. It was great. It was fun. It was good. It was good for me to have like made a personal connection, because sometimes people on the internet are just people on the internet, you know. Except if you've met them, then suddenly they cease to be only people on the internet. They're a real person. You can verify you met that person. They are real. So
exactly.
What's up, Lisa? If you listen, it was fun meeting you back in 2022, right after I broke my foot. How about Mr. Dress Up? How about that? So I actually was aware of Mr. Dress Up just because, I was, because of, the time that I spent up in Nova Scotia. So I would occasionally catch that, when I was at the farm at, my great grandfather's place. Amazing.
Did you know about this, Pete?
I did. I mean, I grew up, we'd watch the CBC quite a bit, and I definitely listened, I listened and watched Canadian broadcasting, and Mr. Dress Up was a staple.
Huh. I'd never heard of it.
That's okay.
Completely unaware. But
were you getting, when you were listening to the Canadian broadcasting, were you getting a lot of early Alanis Morissette?
Well, what it
Like
comes
pre-Jagged Pill, Alanis Morissette.
Well, what it all comes down to, Brock, is that I was fine with
Okay.
hearing early Alanis. I often had one hand in my pocket and the other one was giving a peace sign because I liked peace between Canada and the United States.
Right. Well, I think we have you to thank for it largely.
Well, I'm here to remind you, Brock, that I really loved the
mess I
CBC.
made when I went away. We've been over this before.
You ought to know, Brock.
No, I will
ought to
not.
know.
Not in a theater. Thank you.
Well, you know what? Thank you, India. Thank you, India. Thank you, Providence. Thank you, disillusionment of what we've been talking about here.
That's right.
It's pretty ironic, the conversation that we had.
Don't you think?
So it sounds like I'm not going to get a straight answer to whether or not you heard Alanis before Alanis was big.
I will say that if I stand up right now, I might trip and go head over feet.
No doubt.
Don't be
No doubt.
surprised if I love this conversation we've had.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't help it, Brock. It's not all your fault. Okay.
I thought those were like ready to go immediately. Just what after, just like just kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. Pete knows his stuff. Everybody, please, Petey Hutchie, big fan.
big
Petey
fan
Hutchie
of Alanis.
did a good job.
I am impressed.
Oh, I love Alanis.
But how deep it went into the catalog. But the fact that we all recognized it, I know way more Alanis Morissette than I remembered I did.
That's right. That's right.
We all do.
Love
I was
her.
like, oh yeah.
Love her. I went to see her this summer for the very first time in concert, and Joan Jett opened up. It was amazing. So yes, so it's all fresh, and my renewed love of Alanis is back.
Guys, we have a surprise guest.
Surprise guest?
Yeah.
Who's there?
Was anyone expecting this? Here we go.
Hey, it's that guy who likes Star Trek.
Yeah.
I do.
What up?
What
How's
is
it going,
up,
Todd?
party people?
How are you doing?
I just got home from a bass lesson. Actually, I'm taking
nice.
bass lessons. Yeah.
On that sweet MXPX bass of yours?
Did you slap that bass?
Yes. Yeah, I may have purchased one of those like $3,000 Mike Herrera signature edition Stingrays just to take bass lessons.
That was before you knew how to play the bass.
Yeah, exactly. Before I knew.
I respect this choice.
That's commitment.
Yes.
You can't say much there, Jared. Okay.
Right.
This is true.
So for the listeners at home, Todd Grassman has joined the podcast.
Welcome, Todd.
It is I.
I sent him a text a little bit ago and was like, "Hey, if you want to crash the podcast,
There we go.
come on in."
And here it is.
Founder of skaforchrist.org, right?
Yes, I was gonna say the only of you that I've actually met in person is Brock. So I guess Brock seems to know a lot of things about me.
You start at the top.
For meet your heroes. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
He has to learn all about his competition. Okay.
That's right.
yeah, that
Oh, are we hosting this fight right now?
I feel like there's more of a fight between Caleb and I, really, since he declares himself like the defender of Christian ska or whatever.
The caretaker of Christian ska.
Caretaker.
Yeah.
Like grand whatever. Yeah, but
Grand Poobah.
he is a cool guy, and I feel like he has earned it. Maybe it's in the early 2000s, maybe I could have claimed it more, because I did run a ska forum, Christian ska forum. It started out as just christianska.org because I was not very creative. And then a member, like, we actually had like a contest on the forum, and someone was like, "How about Ska for Christ?" And that's how it came about. There are like about 100 people in the world who have Ska for Christ t-shirts, or did at one time, because that's sort of how I paid the hosting fees and everything, as we sold the t-shirt with our logo on it. And it was just a place for Christian ska bands at the time, which, there were some, there were not a lot. It was already sort of past the prime of ska, but I was a college student and got this idea like, hey. And then, message boards sort of faded away because social media was becoming a big thing at the time. So I was in like a really horrible time to start a forum, basically.
Around what time was this?
2004.
Oh man, all right. I visited that way back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was like, man, this sounds familiar.
I think that gives you more credibility for the caretaker of Christian ska, because now there's a revival. It's cool to be the caretaker of Christian ska.
That's true.
You stepped boldly into that when you were not riding a wave, so you were standing alone, and I think you get extra points for that.
Yeah, it's too bad I threw on a 5 Iron Frenzy hoodie to look cool for this show. Otherwise, I'd show you my "Too Boldly Go" tattoo on my forearm.
What a great audio medium move for you.
Exactly. Well, I mean, it's really for you guys.
Welcome to my life. I do this all the time.
I respect that. What I will say, Todd, is that you were wearing a sweater, which is what you're supposed to do when it's cold out.
Yes,
Yep.
And before that, today I'm a trail leader. I am in charge as like a volunteer of getting myself and other volunteers to like maintain a hiking and mountain bike trail that's about 7 miles long.
Wow.
And I was out like chopping up a tree with a chainsaw.
Yeah, man. Are you a certified or what would they call it? Are you a sawyer?
I'm not really a sawyer or an arborist. Okay. I do have some actual training though, because I used to be a firefighter. And we had to do lots of chainsaw training, except that was more like cut a hole in this wall or whatever, which is a little different than a tree. One thing as a paramedic, I often, because I work in the medical field now. I'm an ER nurse. At the time I was a paramedic, and yeah, I was actually thanked by Leonore for being a paramedic. I was like, oh, that's nice. Like I was standing there with Brock talking to her at a 5 Iron Frenzy show. And I said I'm a paramedic, and she thanked me. I was like, that's really nice. What a nice person.
Seems accurate.
But yeah, I've only ever been actually like in charge when I was on the fire department of like, I was like the officer in charge of like one house fire, like one building fire. But yeah, most of the time as a paramedic, you're sort of just restricted to like, hey, go sit on the ambulance in case anybody gets hurt or whatever. But I was an officer. I was actually like our EMS chief for a while. So none of the other chiefs showed up. So I had to be in charge of a house fire. And luckily it was a small thing. We got it out quickly. But yeah, no church fires. Yeah, one house fire. Lots of car fires.
Hey, Todd, are you up to speed with the most recent Pickle and Boot Shop episode?
No, it's in like my play queue, but I have not listened to it. So
no worries.
Sorry. I was not expecting to be here with all of you. So.
Have you listened to the latest album anniversary podcast?
What was the album?
If I Left the Zoo.
No.
Okay, good. All right. As long as we are in the same queue as the album anniversary, we're okay.
I did.
No fights to be had.
Right.
I did. I was listening to the album anniversary of Proof That the Youth Are Revolting.
Yes, great episode.
Which apparently Caleb has taken a little social media sabbatical due to I don't know what's going on in his life, but I hope everything's okay. But I sent a comment not knowing he was on this sabbatical saying I was at Cornerstone 99 at 5 Irons show, which is one of the shows that's recorded on there. In fact, they start with the Cornerstone 1999. Yeah. But I, at the time, as a silly freshman in was at that time, I didn't know about the signing up to have your name in the liner notes. So I'm not in there. But,
so you can't answer our question.
I know. I was so ready to ask that.
Yeah.
I was there, but I did not know about the sign up. Yeah.
Pete and I were at Soulfest, which was also recorded as part of that recording.
Right.
And our names are not in the thanks.
But we did fill out the paper.
We filled out the paperwork.
And that's the thing is and maybe I'm just like tuning it out because it's just so painful. At one time I thought I did fill out some paperwork, but I've just decided maybe I didn't. Like, I don't know.
Our experience suggests you might have.
Yeah. Like my name's not on there with the other 7,000 people or whatever. So
let's make him feel better about life. He was not on there. Yep, you didn't fill out the paperwork. Didn't do it.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, though, earlier, Brock, to your question of the honorary Canadians for the Michiganders, the Minnesotans, and the Wisconsin.
Right.
The fact that Joe posted about Mr. Dressup as if it was normalized for all of us, I think lending some credence to your theory. That
I think that's the cultural jet stream trending downward, in that particular area.
That was not a national United States phenomenon. It was a Canadian thing.
Yeah. Well, there was also the Fred Penner discussion. Somebody was like, yeah, Fred Penner's still active. He's still doing his thing. You guys remember him? Wasn't he Canadian?
Oh, I loved Fred Penner's Place.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
That is one of those shows that, like, years ago, I had to like look up online. Like, okay, I remember a guy with a guitar and a log.
Dude with huge hair, big beard, crawls through a log, ends up on like Sesame Street in the swamp. It's great.
Exactly. Fred Penner's Place. Yes.
Yeah. Gosh.
With a cool, like, I haven't heard the song in a long time. It was a cool theme song.
It was delightful.
Kind of like a 70s like America or Bread sort of sounding song.
Yeah.
Jared, bring it up.
Jared, do you have the Fred Penner theme handy?
We're about to find out.
Is that on your soundboard?
I can't remember if it's number 14 or 15. Sorry.
Oh, God, Renew!
Strange 5-iron. Oh,
here it is.
Table that, Todd. I want to hear that.
Are we in copyright strike land?
No,
not yet.
Welcome. Well, come on in. Thanks for stopping by. We'll make these moments fly. And we'll sing a song or two. Stories will help us through.
Sounds like this podcast.
I have no clue who Fred Penner is or what Fred Penner's Place is. I don't know anything about it.
I will be reaching out to the Fred Penner people because that would make a great introduction for a Pickle Home Companion.
That would.
It really
I'm
would.
Fred Penner, and you're listening to A Pickle Home Companion.
or the old theme song to Under the Umbrella Tree. Anybody listen to Under the Umbrella Tree?
Oh, goodness, yes.
Do
yes,
you
sir.
ever wonder under the umbrella tree?
Yep.
Under the umbrella tree.
Totally. Captain Kangaroo, anybody?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, please,
Yeah.
of course.
He was national, right?
He was national.
Yeah.
Yep. I enjoyed
Yep.
him. Of course, Fred Rogers. Mr.
Right.
Rogers. Up until, 10 years ago, I had a poster of Mr. Rogers on my childhood wall. Yep. On my
I thought you were
door.
going to say up until this unforgivable, egregious sin that he committed in public.
I was like, no.
Nope,
Don't do it.
Nope,
Don't do it.
You mean dying? That day was horrible.
Yep.
Oh,
It was.
I will never, no.
You still hold it against him, huh?
I do. I still hold it against him. No.
Worst thing he ever did.
If anybody does see any of his documentaries, they're pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the Tom Hanks movie as well, with the little the cameos in that.
Yeah.
No spoilers, but the cameos in that were great.
Yeah, I'm just going down like a memory lane right now, thinking of childhood shows like
Welcome to every episode of this podcast.
Professor Iris, the ibis. Yeah.
Oh man. Yes.
Yeah. You remember that show, Professor Iris?
I have not thought of that in years. Oh my!
It was
goodness.
a puppet-based show.
Yep.
It was like a science. He's Professor Iris, who is an ibis.
Gosh.
Yeah. Bird. Yeah.
Wow, I have not thought of that in forever. Did anybody watch the original Dumbo Circus?
Yeah, I was thinking about that
with the live puppets.
And Welcome to Pooh Corner.
Welcome to Pooh Corner. Yep.
Yeah, it was like mascot suits.
Mascot suits, the original Disney Channel. Yep.
Yep.
Before it went loud and commercial filled.
That's right. Yeah. And there was that school time special from the Welcome to Pooh Corner set.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Too Smart for Strangers.
Oh my!
It was a "Don't Let People Touch You in Your No Square" sort of show.
Yes. Oh my word.
PSA school special.
Yeah.
Too smart for strangers. That's me, Winnie the Pooh. Yeah.
Todd, how I describe myself on this podcast is the guy that gets overly excited about everything. And that is no more true than right now, remembering these old things.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Too Smart for Strangers, the 1985 musical drama.
There we go.
Direct-to-video special Welcome to Pooh Corner. Children are taught how to behave around strangers, how to watch for danger, and even addresses the subject, oh no, of child... Of the no square.
Pickles,
yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yep.
Yeah, wow, I had forgotten that.
It was all about like here's how to not take candy from strangers. Here's how to not get into a dude's van.
Gosh.
Like, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I had a weird, like it's always weird when you run into a Five Iron Frenzy fan in the wild.
Oh yes, please.
Like,
oh yeah.
Like,
I want to hear about this.
So I've had 2 this year that were both bike related. So
I believe that.
There's basically, these are the themes of my life. Five Iron Frenzy and MXPX, Star Trek, philosophy, bicycles. Those
Socrates on a bike.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
That's why Socrates on a bike is my common internet handle now. It used to be Socrates died trolling, but because that's my interpretation of the Phaedo, which is like the story of the death of Socrates, that he basically did die of trolling the populace of Athens. But anyway, I'm Socrates on a bike now because it just fits more of my interests into one handle. But the first one, me and my friends riding down, we have a big like rail trail here in Southwest Iowa. Like rail trails are places where it was a railway. They've converted it into like a nature trail. We were on the Wabash Trail, and there was a song about the Wabash Cannonball. Some of you might be familiar with. That was a which went right through here. That's why we have the Wabash Trail. So we were stopped at one of the trailheads, had my little Bluetooth speaker. Of course, I am forcing my friends to listen to Five Iron Frenzy. And
good friends do.
Thank you for your service.
You're welcome. And a random dude is like, "Is that Five Iron Frenzy?" He's like, "I have not heard them in 20 years." I'm like, "Well, allow me to tell you, good sir, they're still alive." And,
welcome back, friend.
Yeah.
And well.
Exactly. I'm like, literally, I saw them 3 times this year, which is strange given that like that was after a 20-year hiatus from the previous 3 times I saw them. And then just this weekend, I did a cyclocross race, actually 2, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. Cyclocross is, to put it simply, the most punk rock of cycling sub-disciplines. Involves lots of riding a road-type bike, but in the dirt and over obstacles. Sometimes you have to carry it and run through pits of sand and all sorts of wild things. Yeah, exactly. It's a bike parkour. And I'm getting in my car afterwards, and this older guy, I'm assuming he's like a parent of one of the other riders because he was just like all bundled up the whole time, just sort of hanging out. He's getting in his van to leave, and I have, as one might guess, a Five Iron Frenzy window decal on the back of my little hatchback.
As one should.
That like, it's huge too. Like it probably covers like a quarter of, because I drive a very tiny car, a Nissan Juke. So he's like, "And you like Five Iron Frenzy? You're perfect." That's just all he said to me.
I love that. It's true. You are. You're exactly who you're supposed to be.
And then he offered you candy to get in his van, and you said, "No, don't touch me there. This is my no-no square."
And somehow a Nissan Juke is an SUV.
Technically, they call it a subcompact SUV. So smaller than a regular car, but also an SUV. I have heard that the EPA actually classifies it as a very tiny station wagon. I don't know if that's true or not, but
punch buggy.
Is that still a category? I mean, I guess
so.
I guess it is.
They probably, I'm guessing the EPA has maybe some very old regulations. I don't know. I just remember I one time read that they actually classify it as a station wagon. But yeah, it's basically just a tiny hatchback car. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, let's not forget the third person who you met who doesn't shares the same things, right? Like you and I both ride bikes and like 5 Hour and Frenzy as well. So I was thinking when you were explaining what a rail trail is that like I'm used to podcasting in a place where you don't have to explain what a rail trail is, but it is helpful.
I did place because I knew that some of the other people here
right.
Well, I know BS. Brock.
I'm going to give all of my co-hosts the benefit of the doubt. I think they all probably know what a rail trail is.
They probably know what a rail trail is.
Yep, yeah. We do.
We actually do, but our listeners may not. So,
are you interested in talking about cantilevers or points of engagement, Todd?
I am. I mean, I'd rather talk about cyclocross, but yeah, I'm down for anything bike related.
Todd, did I ever tell you when I was a bike guy in Portland?
Everybody else, Jared, Kevin, let's go.
Let's move to the left channel.
Let's let Brock and Todd
talk about Atlanta sports.
So what it all comes down to is that everything is just fine. Okay, go ahead. No, keep going.
So Todd, I never told you. I don't think I told you about when I was heavily involved in bike fun in Portland, Oregon. We had a ride that I put together called the Stair Carry, and that was it was kind of like a cyclocross thing, but basically there's a ridge that goes through the east side of town, and there are a number of public stairways there. So what we would do is we would ride to the bottom of one staircase, grab our bikes cyclocross style, and carry them up the stairs, and ride to the next staircase at the base of the next staircase, and carry our bikes up those stairs as well. And thus we did 6 or 7 public stairways just carrying bikes up them. It was great.
That's awesome. You know, I'm also a public stairway enthusiast.
Are you? We need to live closer to each other.
Yeah.
What's the housing market like where you are?
Interesting. Yeah, and there's and not to advertise another pod, but
oh no, go ahead.
We're pod friendly around here.
One of my favorite pods, other than of course the Pickle Home Companion, is the Slow Ride podcast, which is So Brock's heard of it? Yeah, it's a comedic sort of like, you know, a send up of cycling culture by 3 guys also about this age. Who would have guessed 3 white guys of approximately this age have a podcast?
It's true. White guys be biking. Yeah.
Yeah, they were all bike messengers in the Minneapolis area in like the 90s, early 2000s. So they're just all into bike culture, but one of them is sort of made fun of as like the nerd of the group, you know, so I relate to him. And he actually started a spreadsheet where he is trying to identify every public staircase in Minneapolis, St. Paul. So,
they have 507 episodes out.
Yeah, they've been going on for I think about a decade or something. Yeah.
Yeah, Slow Ride, a cycling podcast. It's under health and sports in Spotify.
There we go.
Can I tell you guys something that I tried to set something up as a joke, but it didn't go the way I wanted. But so I asked ChatGPT, who is Brock Dittus?
Ooh.
And this is what ChatGPT. It starts well, guys. It starts the right way, and then it takes a turn. Brock Dittus is known for his work as a podcaster.
Oh.
Especially within the cycling and bike touring communities. He's a co-founder and former co-host of the Sprocket podcast, a long-running show that explores themes around urban biking, simple living, and alternative transportation. The podcast focuses on cycling culture, sustainability, and the experiences of people who use bikes as a significant part of their daily lives. Dittus is also known for his insights into minimalist lifestyles and community-centered living. He has a reputation for promoting practical, accessible, and thoughtful approaches to everyday adventures, often centered around cycling DIY solutions.
Okay.
It's very complimentary.
I'll accept that.
But it says nothing about the Pickle Home Companion. And so
like
ChatGPT is garbage. Right. Don't use AI. It doesn't work, and I hate it.
No, we just need to put more out there. You know,
I was going to say, can we punch up our SEO a little bit?
What do we got to do here? Yeah, who's our chief marketing officer?
Just add the
I'm-
name
I'm
Brock
only the
Dittus to
social
more of
media
your
guy.
episodes.
Right.
We've got to get
As-
his
More than we already
reputation
do?
flipped from cycling to nonsense and
As,
festival celebrity.
That's it.
Yeah.
As you guys might know, and I guess I've never went to Furnace Fest, but many Furnace Fest people know, another just Brock fact, taller than one might expect. You
Right?
know, when you look at his pictures, you don't think
You okay,
that
Pete?
tall.
You all right, Pete?
Yes.
I think he went all the way over the chair there.
Oh,
Are your legs okay?
man down.
Will you ever cycle again, Pete? Are
How
you
many
all right?
knuckles did you have tonight?
How you doing, guys? I'm down here on the floor, and
Well, there we go. I can
just wanted
just
y'all
see.
to know that I'm doing fine. Fine. I have
It looks
one in
right
my
now
pocket.
as though. Hang on. Can
Um,
you just stay right there? Stay right there. Okay. It looks like Kilroy is here right now.
How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, I had one hand in my pocket, and the other one was not.
I don't want to know.
Was slipping
Pickles.
off
Nope,
of your...
nope. The other one was not steadying my fall, and
Okay.
we're gonna take a picture of the aftermath. It's gonna be wonderful.
There we go. Sounds. That's incredible. Wow. There was an episode of the Sprocket podcast where my wife was in a chair that fell over, and we left it in because it was too good to cut out. Yeah.
There is nothing new under the sun.
For
That's
those
right.
using the audio medium, which is 100% of
Meaningless,
those listeners,
meaningless. Yeah.
Pete fell out of his chair.
Unfortunately, I feel like that's gonna be a low light.
And he went from like side to side all the way across the screen and then all the way down.
I was going down to just grab a surprise to show the audio listening community, and well, I think my Magic Kingdom has been shattered into a million places, but that's all right. I'll tell you why in a minute. It was a Lego Magic Kingdom,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
Oh, no.
yeah, it's okay.
No.
It's a little one. It's not the big one. Everything's fine. But I'm gonna go silent again, and please continue on.
Okay.
So should we play some Squid Games?
Yeah.
We should.
100%. I'm in.
Todd, you get to be the second contestant on our Squid Games.
Oh no.
And I have fresh questions. Fresh
Okay.
scenarios.
Don't worry, my friend. It's a good time.
So,
I believe you.
so the way Squid Games works is we're going to pitch a scenario to you, and you're going to have to place each one of us in that scenario based on your very limited knowledge of who we are.
Yeah, this will be fascinating.
To give you a little bit of some context, though, you can ask one question of each of us, whatever you feel that helps you
Okay.
arrive at your decision, and then we'll answer it, and then you're going to place us. So, in past Squid Game, it was a ranking system, but I have a new scenario. So
Okay.
you're going to form a band with the
Oh.
four of us, and the four roles you need to fill. You need a front man, obviously, lead singer. You need
Okay.
lead guitar. You need that bassist, and then the drummer who sets the tone, obviously. So you've got to
Okay.
fill out your band of squids. Parking lot whiskey -1. But we need to know what role we're going to play in this band and why, and you get to pick. So go ahead, fill out your super
Okay.
And there's
This
no
is-
wrong answer.
Okay.
And remember, you can ask questions.
Okay. But I can just ask each of you one question.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Worth it.
Jared,
Yes.
how is your sense of rhythm?
44-year-old white dad of 2. About
Okay.
what you'd expect. That's what I'm
Okay.
going to say.
Pete.
Yes, sir.
Don't
Don't ask about my balance, please.
Okay. How are you at the guitar?
They used to call me the one tap wonder because if I forgot a chord, I would tap, and it would
Oh,
work.
okay.
It would work fine. So my percussion and my strumming were pretty great.
Okay, gotcha. Kevin, how are your what's your like vocal range?
I would say so.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I fear that I'm not making this super interesting, but I'm really
No,
trying
this
to work
is-
this out here.
This
You're
is
doing
fun.
great.
This is great.
Brock,
Yes.
how are you at drumming?
I am okay at drumming. I am not flashy, but I can play mostly on tempo, I think, and I can play 2 or 3 different drum fills.
Okay,
right there in the
so
pocket,
I think Brock is our drummer. I think he's
Okay.
going to provide a solid foundation.
Okay.
Because he's just a stand-up guy, and
Thank
he,
you.
Mm-hmm.
And you
he
can't
has
put Pete in a seat, obviously. In a chair. He's
he
gonna be
has those
standing.
chops. Yeah. I think Pete has at least explained that he has some guitar knowledge, so I think
Some. Yep,
Pete's gonna be our guitarist.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
Yeah, I think Jared, I have no idea how you are at a bass. You said your rhythm's not good. But hopefully you can lock in with Brock due to your long-standing partnership. And Kevin's our lead singer. Yeah.
All right,
and I
then.
guess
There we go.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Don't worry, Jared. There's only 4 strings on the bass.
That's what I was
So-
thinking. There's less to deal with. It can't be that.
It's
Right.
easy. Yeah.
That's why I played bass, because I knew my brother had more talent than I could.
There's actually 2 bassists here, right? Because Brock,
See,
you play bass.
I was
right?
gonna say that's the thing. I knew that Brock did play bass, but I'm like, I don't know if anybody here can play drums. So I feel like drums is
Right.
the most important. So
And
I was-
guitarists can be bassists, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
I'll be over here
exactly.
in the left ear singing some Alanis Morissette. Don't mind me. Isn't it ironic?
Pete's been trying to be the lead singer the whole time so hard.
I know.
That's true. I heard his singing earlier.
He's
I
been
didn't
auditioning
even need
since
to ask.
episode 1.
Yeah.
And Kevin, you were the guitarist in Mustard, yes?
I was the bass player in Mustard.
You're the bassist. Okay. All right.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Your brother was the guitarist.
Yep.
There
now
we go.
you get to sing. Yeah, you
Yeah.
get to be the front
All right.
man.
Congratulations.
Which is what every bassist really wants to be, right? They want to finally be a star.
I've seen you on stage with Dogwood. You've
That's
got chops.
See, luckily, I don't really know anything about you guys other than Brock. So
Yeah.
this was just a shot in the dark. Yeah.
That's most of the fun.
I had the feeling that Kevin could, he could have lead potential.
Mhm.
He has the charisma, yeah. See, this is something Brock knows about me. My musical interests seem to be deep but not wide. It might be a good description. We were sitting at this bar with me, Brock, and his friend. I forget his name, but
Brian,
Brian,
the guy who introduced me to 5 Iron Frenzy.
Wow. See, and he, I'm talking about MXPX, and he asks me about some other punk band, and I'm just like, I got no idea. I'm sorry. I'm the way I have described it is both MXPX and 5 Iron Frenzy are the best band in the world. It's just a binary star system. They're both at the center. So that's basically my musical interest.
You got a slingshot around the binary star system to get all the way back to when ska was invented.
And funny enough, my bass instructor was like, you know what? We're not going to use any stinking tablature. You're going to just learn purely off of sheet music, and we're not going to use a pick. And that's what I've been learning. It's all fingerstyle, and I'm just reading. I've read before. I used to be a trombonist, so luckily I can read the bass clef anyway. But so picking, it was not something I wanted to do. I was initially, I'm like, no, man. All I want to do is play MXPX songs.
That's the only reason I'm doing this. Do you see this bass?
Yeah, exactly. Do you see this bass, bro?
All I want to do is zoom, zoom in the boom, boom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shake the room.
Pickles.
Or as the 1990s basketball compilation, just shake the rim.
That's it.
Is this headed towards you mastering the MXPX songs on the bass so you can go to the Punk Rock Museum and play Mike Herrera's bass in that room?
I've done that.
Oh. Sure you got there.
So, but maybe next time I'll play it better. That was that was before I had taken any lessons. I happened to be in Vegas 2 years, like, because it actually opened in 2023. I forget when it opened. I think this was 2023.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And anyway, I was there because I basically every year I'm in Vegas for the Star Trek convention. So
nice.
I took an afternoon off to go to the Punk Rock Museum, and paid a little extra for a guided tour by Shane Told from Silverstein.
Cool.
And at the end, you go to the room that has like musical instruments you can play, and he literally was like, I see you looking at that bass over there. Do you want to play Chick Magnet? and so I did very poorly. Yeah.
Heart fluttered momentarily.
Yeah, there was a lot of embarrassment, but then there was like a feeling of like, when else am I going to have like an audience of people watching me play Mike Herrera's bass? Like,
that's right.
I guess, right. And it was literally one he had at Cornerstone, because like, I actually asked Mike that, like, on Instagram or Twitter. I'm like, wait a second, like that red one's there. There's pictures of you playing a red one at Cornerstone. Like, is that the bass from Cornerstone? He's like, yeah. So I'm like, I probably saw him play this bass like 20 years ago, and then I played it at the Punk Rock Museum. So
that's incredible.
And then I walk to the they have a tattoo parlor there, and really? They have like different band logos, and the artist was like, you would probably be the first one to get an MXPX logo. And I was like, well, but he wanted like a whole lot more than I would pay back here for like just a plain black ink tattoo. So I sort of decided, I'm like, I might just go home, and if I want to get an MXPX tattoo someday, I will. But yeah, so that was basically, I mean, the museum is really cool though. It's basically eras. Like, it starts out like 70s, 80s, 90s, and then it works its way into different subgenres of punk. It's really cool. So if you I think at least at that time it was like $30 if you just want to go wander around by yourself, but like $100 if you want like a guided tour by some punker. So it was a good experience. That's very cool. Yeah.
It's very punk rock to charge another $70.
Exactly. Who would have thought that Fat Mike would enrich himself off of the punk music scene? But anyway, I guess I do know something outside of MXPX and Five Iron Frenzy. I know to make fun of Fat Mike for his capitalism.
Just gonna say, I was almost going to go out there because I was going to tag along. Sarah had a race she was going to run out out in Utah, and we were both going to go out and kind of hang out for like a day before she had to do her race, and then I was going to drive to Vegas, go check out the Punk Rock Museum, and then drive back once she was done. Yeah, she does these I don't know if you've heard of the Ragnar like relay races.
It does sound somewhat familiar. Yeah.
When the walls fell.
What's that?
No, sorry, it's a Star Trek joke.
Oh, okay. I know some Star Trek, but not a lot.
I'm with you.
So.
I'm there.
Just wait until Daniel Rock and I start our Star Trek podcast.
Yeah. Was it John Miller? I think he was saying might come on.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys remember, he actually made like a trailer for it that like found its way into one episode of Pickle and Boot Shop like a while back. Really? Yeah, that was, I don't know how many people remember. Like I remember.
I do.
Cause, like,
I do.
Yeah, he made wonderful. a little trailer for this podcast that has still never come into existence. But Ska Trek it'll come someday. Yeah,
that'd be cool. I'd be down for it. But yeah, so we almost went out for that, and I was going to go check out the museum, and then hopefully maybe try and meet up with somebody else from Pickle and Boot Shop that's in the area, and
that would be awesome.
And then drive back. So
I keep telling Kylan Savage that I'm gonna meet him because I go down to where the area he lives to go mountain biking sometimes. So, but this year I've just been busy and I haven't made it down there. But he also, and I think he's mentioned this in the podcast, like by day he's like a graphic designer. He actually designed a logo for my cycling club. So it's sort of interesting how all these things have interweaved, like due to the CCM tournament. Now all of this has happened, right? Like I know this guy and I'm like, oh yeah, you're a graphic designer. Yeah, I've got a cycling club. So yeah, I haven't made it down to visit him, but I hope to maybe this coming spring. So
we've now talked ska. We've talked Star Trek. So is this the Ska Trek podcast?
I'm coming for you, Daniel Rock.
We've also talked about bicycles. Does anybody want to talk about philosophy?
Look at the time.
Yeah. Have you guys heard of Miguel de Unamuno? Allow me to tell you about one of my favorite Christian existentialists.
I've heard of Menudo. Wasn't that the Spanish music group?
Yes.
We need to make space for that, though. I think that could be a good idea to have a philosophy talk with Todd sometime on.
I do need to,
yeah,
because it's come up in a couple of the podcasts I've been a guest on. Because 5 Iron Friends, who would have thought people bring me on when they want to talk about ska? Because that's what I'm interested in. But so I think I've been on Caleb's show 3 times, and they're all sort of, ska episodes, either Insiders, Roper, and then just his general Christian ska episode we did. But I have brought up that I actually I'm a busy guy. I have silly hobbies and I work full time as a nurse, but I do have this idea of I need to write down the Kierkegaardian, Soren Kierkegaard themes in 5 Iron Frenzy. I think there's actually multiple trains of thought that are found in Kierkegaard that are also found in the works of Reese Roper. So
there we go.
I don't know if maybe in his theological sort of readings and stuff, maybe Reese read some Kierkegaard. If that's maybe there actually just is a direct hey, he also read Kierkegaard. So or if there's just other sort of general connections there.
Well, let's ask. Pickle and Boot Shop, can you fact check? Has Reese Roper in fact read Kierkegaard?
Yeah, have you ever read any Kierkegaard? Because it's a lot.
Yeah. What I will tell you is I had a job at a coffee shop and I had a book of what was it, Attack on Christendom, I think, that I wanted to read.
Yeah.
And I never finished it. I just wasn't I couldn't hack it at that time. I feel like I should have persisted. Somebody wanted a latte or something.
I started with Either Or, and that's a big one, and I did not get through. And I've also tried getting into Fear and Trembling, which is probably one of Kierkegaard's most famous works. Where it starts out talking about Abraham going to, kill, sacrifice his son. But
as one does in the book of Genesis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kierkegaard. It starts out with Kierkegaard repeatedly explaining the story and making these analogies between it and breastfeeding, and it gets weird.
Interesting.
So yeah,
I thought I heard a ska song about that. I didn't.
so I have to jump in real quick because this has become a live interactive podcast. We have a new text message to the Squid line.
Oh, sweet. Who's it from?
Oh, yeah.
It's from Tammy Freeze.
What's up, Tammy Freeze? I've heard of you.
Oh gosh, what did she say?
Have you put on a sweater yet?
She says Jared isn't the greatest singer. He cannot be the front man. So you chose wisely.
She was lurking over here.
Wow.
Earlier.
Wow. That's a live update.
Yeah.
Initially,
that's our Patreon subscriber.
I was going to go with Brock as the front man.
That's probably what I would have gone with. I would have gone with either Brock or Pete, probably.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
The initial feeling was Brock for frontman. We have to capitalize on his recent stardom.
That
Right.
face,
I think that's
that
the thing.
jawline.
We'll play
That
first.
jawline.
Yeah.
That's
But
right.
I, being like somewhat musically inclined, I'm like, I need to pick a decent drummer, and I don't
Right.
know who in this thing can play drums. So yeah,
That
that's
pick does decide the fate of the band right there.
Yeah.
Actually,
So.
everything else can be corrected or covered up.
I don't know if I could play breakdowns or not. That's the thing.
Yeah, we did not establish what kind of band. We
Yeah, what
would
kind of
be,
band
so-
is
True.
this?
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna be doing
Band,
like
naturally.
blast beats and
We're a four piece,
yeah, what
so
are,
that could go a lot of directions.
Like hornless Op Ivy style ska. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a few waltzes.
Do you know anything in 3/4? Guys, I gotta log off. It's,
of
it's
course.
my
Wow,
time
you made it. You
where I
made it
gotta
pretty long.
start moving to yeah, for sure. But I gotta put the kids to bed here pretty quick. So otherwise, my wife won't let me keep doing the podcast.
that seems important.
Gotcha. Well, you know what you need to do, Brock.
Yes, sir.
We do need an outro.
That is the news from Lake Scabagan, where all of the lives are long, all of the people are prosperous, and all of the scale replicas, all of the full scale replicas are above average.
Onward, pickle soldiers.
Thank you, Brock.
But first of all, Todd, you're welcome to join us for the Brockless podcast if you like. This is the part where we talk shit about Brock.
Once he's gone, not to his face, because that would be impolite.
That's right, which is its own form of philosophy. Good to see you guys. Have a
Live long
great
and
night.
prosper, Mr. Oregon.
Take care, Todd.
Later, Brock.
Rubber side down, as they say.
I try.